So the talk today is called Eat Berries and Frolic. And it's kind of warm today anyway. You'll notice that there's a t-shirt that I have which says we are here to eat berries and frolic. And this is something that came up in the Activate Your Intuition class. Leslie Jaggers, who's in the class, mentioned this one day with kind of a sassy attitude, like, we are here to eat berries and frolic. And she just said it kind of defiantly and like to explain. That's the whole purpose. And it captivated my attention, and it captivated the attention of some of the other people who were in the class as well. And the reason that eat berries and frolic resonates, first of all, the word frolic. How often do you use the word frolic? Not tremendously often. Some people say frolic regularly. Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer, who's the president of Anton, talks about frolicking. And it's always sort of surprising to hear him say it, because a grown man telling you to go frolic seems a little bit out of place. But frolic feels free. It feels carefree. It's a fun and a joyous thing. Nobody is going to put on their to-do list, oh, I have to frolic today. It's not going to be the sort of thing that that you're going to have to work at. So frolic is kind of joyous and fun and uplifting and whimsical. And berries, eat berries and frolic. We occasionally will make a meal out of berries, but usually it's a garnish, it's an extra little something. It's sweet, it's light, it's colorful. Again, usually pretty joyous. Nobody says, I have to eat berries. So the notion that we can eat berries and frolic reminds us that we're a choice, that we can bring some of that glee and joy into our lives. Now imagine how different the saying would be if we said, eat beef and frolic. Or make it really commercial, eat Doritos and frolic. It doesn't feel the same. So when Leslie said this in the Activate Your Intuition class, we thought, that's great. And I said, let's make a t-shirt. And everybody said, that'd be great. And then nobody did anything. And I have quite a bit of experience in the printing business, and I'm okay with typesetting, and I'm horrible, absolutely horrible at doing any sort of artwork other than making sure that things are lined up and are not bad. That is my specialty, is not bad. And so I said, we need to have a t-shirt. We need to do something. And there's been a lot of conversation lately about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, which is released by OpenAI. And that's the language generator where you can have a chat with the thing and it will just make up the answers. And there's an image generator too called DALL-E. So I thought, let's see if I can get DALL-E to make a graphic for the t-shirt. So I put in some prompts about eating berries and frolicking, and there are some pretty grim things that came back. I asked for a cartoon and it was really scary. And I asked for one with a type in it, and it came back the type but not in English. So there was one that was eat berries and frolics, and it seemed kind of ominous, people chasing after each other for unknown purposes. So the prompt that I finally wound up with was young people eating berries and frolicking. And this is the graphic that artificial intelligence created. So this did not exist before the prompt between me and the computer. And then I had a graphic. It's like, okay, well, I know a little bit about typography, and I know that I can do a not bad job. It's not going to be great, it's going to be not bad. So me and Canva and DALL-E teamed up and made the t-shirt, went on to Printful, and I got my t-shirt. So now everybody knows that I can eat berries and frolic. Good for me. Good for me. And that's what the talk today is about. It's about not eating berries and frolic. You are welcome to frolic, to your heart's content. You're welcome to eat as many berries as you would like. I'm on Noom, and berries are apparently one of the really good things to be eating on Noom. So good for me. I can eat berries and frolic and be on my diet program. But it's kind of a reminder. And there's a sobering thought. You will never be any younger than you are today. You will never be any younger than you are today. I cannot tell you the number of times that I hear people talking about where they are in their life and their experience and their situation, and they include reference to their age. I'm a fill-in-the-blank year-old person, and that means ... Okay? I'm a 60-year-old woman, so I shouldn't have to whatever. I'm a 50-something-year-old man, so that means, no, it doesn't. What it means is you've had a certain number of birthdays, and congratulations, happy birthday. You've got all the candles, all the different cakes that you have for that. Eat berries and frolic, and you are where you are. You will never be any younger than you are today. And we can all stop getting older, but that's really not a good alternative, right? In the when I do memorial services, I talk about the dash. You know, the headstones in the cemetery. There's a birthday and a dash and an expiration date, and we're not in a hurry to do everything that we do during that dash. There's a possibility to fill that up with richness and goodness, and we know it's as long as it is so far, and it could be twice that long, or 3 times that long, or 10% longer, or whatever it is that we're looking at. We're never going to be any younger than we are today. So if there's something that you are being called to do, there's some invitation, something that Spirit is urging you to do, to quote the goddess Nike, just do it. And even if you are fill in the blank years old, that doesn't mean that you can't do it, that you shouldn't do it, that you won't do it, that you can't do it. You may or may not want to do it. You may say, you know, I've made it X number of years without doing that. It's a nice fantasy, but it's not really going to help my life going forward. You don't have to do it just because you thought of it. If it's on your bucket list, you can do it. If bungee jumping with a questionable bungee is on your bucket list, maybe a good idea, maybe not, you get to decide. The good news is you will also never be more inexperienced than you are today. As we go through our lives, we build up experiences, we learn things. Imagine that, we learn things. We grow, we change, we develop, we evolve. And that happens in a linear manner. So you will never be more inexperienced than you are now. All of the experiences you've had, that's input for what's happening next, for the guidance that's available to you for what's next. There is a possibility that you can step up, that you can do something spectacular and wonderful. Maybe there's an idea that you have to solve world hunger. You're on the team that can cure cancer. Maybe there's a way to eliminate inequality in the world. And those are all wonderful things. Those are powerful things. Those are things that really get our attention and say, that's life transforming. That can transform the world. And they're great. And if you have an idea and you have an inspiration and you have a channel and a way to do that sort of thing, go for it. And have fun. There are so many things that we think of doing that wind up being demanding or onerous or dragging us down or drudgery. And sometimes they're things that are worth doing. Sometimes, I hate having to go to work because I'm going to work because I'm building this thing and the company needs the thing and it's going to be a really great thing when it's done, but it's a lot of work right now and I'm getting paid okay, but it's a lot of work. There is the possibility of investing our time and our energy to bring that new thing into being. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be drudgery. We can do that while we eat berries and frolic. We can have a good time while we're doing all of it. That's the reminder. We are here to eat berries and frolic. And if things just seem like a drudgery, just seem like a chore and a task, and then we have to plod through to get them done, because that's what I've always done and it's taken X number of years and that's all I've got going on, we are missing the point. We are here to eat berries and frolic. Something that came up in the daily meditations this week is the idea that if you were to chart your good days and your bad days, and so there's a graph, it's up and down. So there's some days when it's really low. Dark night of the soul, friends have betrayed us, left to the altar, somebody steals the car. You know, there are horrible things, death of a loved one. There are low points. And then there are average days, kind of, yeah, it's a nice day. Getting along with my coworkers, got my car washed, whatever it is that gives us a pleasant day. And then there are the ones that are way up at the top, those peak experiences. Maybe it was on a vacation, maybe it was just seeing something spectacular and moving and uplifting. And those are the peak days. And it winds up being a chart. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. If you look at your life, hopefully what you'll see is there's a generally upward trend where the lows are not as low and the time between lows is longer and the time between highs is shorter, as we are inviting more of that uplift and goodness into our lives. I am sorry to tell you, you cannot change any of the timeline that has already happened. You can drink or do drugs to hopefully forget it, but that doesn't really work either, because it's happened. But in every one of those experiences, it is possible, regardless if it's the lowest low, an average day, or the highest high, there's room for it to be even higher, even better. Highest and best unfolding in that next situation. So if you take one of those days which is challenging, and you remind yourself of the light and the love and the goodness that you are, maybe you can step that up just a little bit. And if you're having a great day, eat berries and frolic. Add that on top of it. There's always the possibility to turn it up a notch, to increase, improve, and enhance whatever's going on in your life. Now, there are a few techniques that we have. I love the idea of having a spiritual practice. And it's not like when I'm having one of those peak high experience days, oh, let me drop everything and go sit and meditate for half an hour. No, maybe you want to stay in the experience and continue having that wonderful experience. And maybe when we're at the lowest possible low, that's not a good time to say, hey, let me have a spiritual practice that I'm going to get started with. The idea is if we keep doing that all the time, where we remind ourselves of our connection with the infinite, that divine creative power that creates everything, that's created us, is always working and it's always available, we build up some muscle memory. We build up the ability so that when we're having a peak experience, we can bring in a little more of that. We're having a typical average day, we can bring in a little more of that uplift. We can eat berries and frolic. And then when one of those dark nights of the soul comes along and we're really having a challenging time, we can remember the truth of who we are and invite in a little bit more light and a little bit more love. So let us do that. Let us celebrate this gorgeous spring day, Mother's Day, the opportunity that we have to be that bright light of love and eat berries and frolic, because we deserve it. So it is.